Hey, folks, let's jump right in. No messing around. Republicans won huge on this special election in the United States of America. But make no mistake, folks, the shock and the awe, it is real. But make no mistake, the SHTF is going to continue and it's going to get worse. Let's enjoy the victories and the moment, but let's talk about what is happening. In 2016, Hillary Clinton was handed a blistering ass whipping from President Trump. Blistering, folks. She was destroyed. There were snowflake tears flowing, creating rivers of anger and frustration and confusion on the part of the left. What do you mean no one wants Hillary? What do you mean no one wants socialism? What do you mean no one wants globalism? And that started the battle, the 4-year battle of F Trump and hate America. And it culminated in the 2020 election of the most popular president of all time. The guy that can't get more than 500 people to watch a live video feed, Gigi Biden. Folks, what has happened with Cerveza bug? What has happened with the banking system? What is happening with the military? What is happening in our schools? What is happening with the legal system? What is happening with our infrastructure, our economy, the inflation, everything resulted in an off-year special election that took place around the country. And it has shown what the people want and think. And surprise, surprise, election integrity managed to hold up. Don't be surprised, folks, when the Democrats, these Marxist communist types, turn it up a notch and come right back. Folks, I have some stuff to tell you, to talk about. The Marxists are in shock. They have been awed. What do you mean the American people reject their system? This was a tiny little special election in a few districts, folks. Tiny, 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 tiny. The governor of Virginia is going to be a Republican. Terry McAuliffe, left-wing stooge, puppet, ass kisser for decades. Mouthpiece, figurehead McAuliffe, gone. But I would expect some more out of him. The lieutenant governor in Virginia is a Jamaican immigrant who served in the Marine Corps, who is pro-First and Second Amendment, and is also a woman, right? Never before happened. Oh, yes, and she's a black. She's a Jamaican American black. Can't say African American, can we? Got to get all this shit straight. There's so much to see what's going on. Unbelievable. They swept Virginia, folks. The seat of stupidity and also the seat of educational, shall we say, terror, with all of the CRT, LGB, trans garbage coming out of there. It is incredible, folks. Incredible. The ass blistering happened and they won't quit, folks. From New York to New Jersey to Virginia to San Antonio, Texas, and beyond. Republicans kicked the shit out of Democrats in this special election held across the nation. Now, we do need to savor the moment. We need to celebrate and cheer for ourselves and our side. We have won the day. Go America. But the Marxist communist Democrats will run out of tears before they ever concede and quit. They still hold power in these seats, these offices, until the newly elected officials are installed, folks, and they can use emergency measures to create chaos and havoc for the voters, for their anti-commie treason and the let's go Brandon attitudes, right? The communist folks didn't quit under Trump's presidency, and they formulated, then executed their Cerveza coup d'etat that has broken the back of America, broken the back of our Constitution, broken the back of our economy. Folks, it took them decades to get their power in the DC courts, the legislatures, the White House, and most importantly, in my opinion, the CIA, FBI, DOJ, Attorney General's office, in OSHA, in the EPA, in the State Department, in Dr. Doom's medical laboratories of death, in the IRS, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the DHS, NSA, Pentagon, and the rest of the bureaucracy, giving them direct regulatory control of America. They haven't lost a single leather chair in their bureaucracies, folks. We've won a few elected seats in states around the country, but they haven't lost a single leather chair to shine with their big fat asses in the DC bureaucracy. The commies are butthurt. They are mad. They are outraged, and they will never quit. Folks, this is an information war. This is a psychological operation that's being conducted against us by the Democrats and their globalist masters. We won some elections. Awesome. We have shown them, the bureaucrats, the elected scum in DC, the corporatist, crony capitalist globalists, they know what our attitude is, but they still have the power to punish. Much like Gretchen the Grinch Whitmer in Michigan. Every time there was a protest, she just said, okay, then you get more lockdowns. And she used their protests as the excuse. While in other states, they just said, fuck you, more lockdowns. If you remember 2020, folks, they're butthurt, mad, and outraged, and they'll never quit. In fact, expect punishments to begin right away. In the next week or two, leading into the holidays, expect them to lock down, expect them to punish, expect them to create new rules, expect them to have more mandates, folks. Expect renewed efforts to scare and control we the people. Expect the mainstream media. Oh yeah, did you forget about them? They are crying, whining, pissing, moaning, denying. They're lying as usual. And they're going to go on the attack. They will not let this stand. They are, folks, the info war front line for the political left, right? The media stands up and said, here's the news. And then they hand the microphone to their scumbags in corporate land and their scumbags in the state legislatures and governor's offices, as well as the federal legislature and the presidency. They point to them and say, we are your source of information. And then they get the information right from the horse's ass or mouth or both. Right? Expect the mainstream media to go on the attack. Expect there to be demands for recounts and investigations. Expect accusations of fraud and cheating and intimidation. Expect there to be claims of racism. Expect nothing to change nationally, folks. While we do have some local victories and state victories, awesome. But expect nothing to change nationally. And the commie DNC will not give up their agenda to poison the world with their politics and their policies and the destructive support of social wokeism across the nation and down into our schools, where they will attack the innocent minds of our children and keep pushing their sick agenda. That is not going to stop. Yes, it's a fight, folks. Yes, it's a battle. Yes, it's a war for liberty and freedom, our lives, our country, our Constitution, our religious beliefs, our political beliefs, our personal beliefs. That's what is at stake. Prep to action. For us across the social media, alternative media spectrum is working to wake America up. Not just the Prepared Mind Network, but all networks essentially are doing the same thing. They're getting people prepared. They're telling them to get ready. They're telling them to take action. Prep to action, folks. It's working. But this is a tiny battle. Hard fought. Produced some political victories, good. But the destruction of America can't be fixed with some elections. Not now. Folks, it will take more than elections. Control of all the legislatures and all the executive seats. It will take the people demanding, you, me, us, continuing to demand the Constitution be obeyed and protected. And the courts upholding the law and their oaths to sit in those judges' seats. right? This is a very complicated communist takeover, folks. It involves the courts at the state level, the federal level, and the Supreme Court. Their plan uses cities, counties, states, as well as the federal legislatures, all of them working to demand we give up our rights, screwing us over. Their plan requires governors, mayors, as well as the President of the United States, denying our rights, our lives, our Constitution. It has, folks, their plan, the bureaucracy. I listed a shit pile of them, and there's a lot more to go. But you can now understand these bureaucrats, not only, and those were just federal bureaucracies. There are mirror bureaucracies in every state, and those Democrat states have Democrat bureaucrats sitting in those seats, and they're not electable, folks. They are appointed, and they work in those jobs for their entire lives. They control, they're not going away, they're not giving up. They're all supposed to have taken oaths to sit in those elected or appointed seats of authority. They don't have rights, they have authority, folks. And authority, click, click, bang, bang, authority is exercised with might makes right. They haven't lost, folks. They lost a few elections. The optics look bad for them. The optics show the American people, hey, we can make a difference. This is one of the few examples, election night, where American people can stand up and say, this is what we really think. This is what we really believe. And this is what we want. In fact, we are going to make demands. But do you think these bureaucrats give a fuck? People make demands. They back off and say, okay, we won't do so much. We won't do so much. We won't take and demand your rights. And after a few days, maybe a week or two, they come right back and make all the same fucking demands. Oh, sorry about the lockdowns. You guys can be free in a month. You guys can be free in 2 months. Promise, we promise. And then it gets to 2 months and they're like, what are you fucking talking about? We're not going to let you out of your lockdowns. We're not going to open up the stores, the restaurants, the streets, the beaches, the parks. We're not going to open up your jobs. No. Fuck you. We're in charge. We're the bureaucrats. Understand, folks. Never forget that tyrants do not give up power. They do not quit. Tyrants don't go away. They hide. They scheme. They fight dirty. Folks, communists lie, cheat, and steal. Communists murder their own people. You think they're going to let a couple of elections dissuade them and change their mind? They want to burn America to the ground, and they said as much in 2020. Both their street urchins and then the politicians that bailed them out supported them and encouraged them when they used words like, we're going to burn it to the ground. They pretended they didn't support it. They pretended it was wrong, but did nothing to fix it. This election is essentially a microcosmic referendum on what we, the people, want and demand. And it's not going to change anything, folks. Enjoy this day, but sharpen your minds. Dig in for the fight. We have a decade or more of SHTF to go through, and this is nothing, folks. This is nothing compared to that shit that the evil scum have in store for us as the consequences of their efforts become public, as the consequences of their decisions, their medical, political, military decisions, as the consequences, the negative, the doom and gloom that they forced on us can't be hidden anymore. As the destruction and the pain and the loss becomes more and more apparent, and the mainstream media can't hide it. They're going to do all they can to censor us, folks, to silence us, to shut us the fuck up. They're going to try all they can to remove us, and that's why your support is so critical. Because if you don't support me, if you don't support others by watching their videos and sharing their videos, going to their websites, taking the information and sharing it through private networks, through emails, through text messages, through uncensored social media. If we don't keep doing this, folks, they're going to crush us. I say get planned. I say get prepared. Prep to action. It is just begun. The political victory for us will require a physical and violent response from the radical left, fascist, and commies. It's going to require it. They can't allow this victory to go unanswered, right? Taking over Russia, taking over Germany, taking over China was not an event. It was a process that took them over a decade in Germany. It took over a decade in Russia. It took forever for them to put their people in place and then to enact their plan. And they had setbacks, they had failures, they had shortcomings. The people did fight back in communist Russia, in Nazi Germany, in communist China. They fought back, but they ultimately lost. This is America. And there are way too many patriots, way too many veterans, way too many good old boys and girls in the country, way too many hardcore urban Americans that are going to say, fuck that, folks. But they did win in those countries, and it was a process. Defeating them won't be an event. Defeating them is going to be a process. The communists never gave up, the scum. So prepare for SHTF, folks, to take a step up in difficulty for us, the American people, for our system, our way of life, which used to be about freedom, liberty, having a good time, working hard, paying your taxes, obeying the law, and being rewarded. It's gone the other way, has it not? You are now punished. You are now accused of being bad. The political leftists out here say that you, free Americans, are the cause of the problems. We don't run fucking Washington and the bureaucracies. The problems are all yours, you leftist assholes. You created it, and you want to blame us for taking away our liberties for the last 50 fucking years? This is where we're at, folks. This is where we're at. Be sure to subscribe to all Prepared Mind networks. And I would encourage you strongly to subscribe at patreon.com. Go to the Prepared Mind on patreon.com. It's $2 a month, it's 7 cents a day, and it guerrilla funds. It funds us away from big social media. It funds our efforts away from the mainstream media. It funds our efforts in a way that they aren't messing with, can't seem to mess with, because we break no rules, we hurt nobody, we're free. But understand, folks, being free is going to be considered evil. Being free is considered an obstacle to communist takeover, to fascist totalitarianism. The commies and the fascists are working hand in hand to destroy America, because that is a common goal, folks. The fascist in charge, the corporations and the schools and education and political communists. And when they get control, then they will destroy each other to see who runs this country. And that is if they win, if we allow them to defeat us, if we give up the fight, if we say, it's okay, I guess I'll bend over and take a tequila shot right in the ass. Are you going to give up? Or are you going to keep fighting? A lot of people have taken the Jim Jones juice, but haven't given up the fight. There's a lot of different ways to fight these people, folks, and it's going to get fucking ugly and nasty. I'm not recommending or encouraging or inciting violence or glamorizing it or insurrection or anything like that. This is an information war. This is psychological operations. And this channel is 100% satire. Because apparently it is under satire that I can exercise a modicum of free speech. A modicum of free speech. Isn't that interesting? So here we are. And am I not a satirical smartass using humor to point out the deficiencies of these political fucking tyrants? It has just begun. My job has just begun, and I've been doing it for, what, 8 years now, and it's just begun. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi means always faithful. Godspeed. We're going to need all the help we can get. Be strong. Do your part. Prep to action. Get others to join the fight and stop taking orders and start demanding accountability to their oaths. They're not going to give up though, folks. And it's all going to come out in the wash. Get prepared, get healthy, get strong, protect yourselves. Second Amendment. First Amendment is your protection. Fourth and Fifth Amendment, your protection. 10th Amendment is state protection. Demand that they be upheld. The states can deny the federal government anything that violates their state constitutions. Did you know that? Well, it's time to find out exactly who wants to go where, how far, how fast, and how much fun. I'll talk to you all very, very soon.